Hi guys, I'm back again with another episode. I'm here today with Steve from AGE UK, and I'm just going to hand over to you, Steve, to explain all about the charity.
Thanks, Dave, and thanks for the invite to come on to the podcast and talk about our organisation. I'm pretty sure a lot of people will recognise the logo of Age UK, probably from the charity shops in the high street. But I think what a lot of people don't appreciate is the services that go behind it. So, just give you a quick run through of the services that we offer in Birmingham and across Sandwell. So, key areas that we work in are around providing information, advice, and guidance for older people. And that can be on any topic, whether that's helping people with their finances, claim benefits, access blue badges, find out about social care, about healthcare. To put into context, last year we claimed just over £3 million of unclaimed benefits for older people. So what we do in that area has a huge impact on the lives of older people in Birmingham. One of the things, other areas we get involved in is important that people stay active and fit and included within the community. So lots of activity sessions, lots of friendship groups, lots of groups to bring people together to socialise, to encourage them to stay part of an active society. Unfortunately, another area we get involved in is we work a lot with people with dementia and people living with dementia, their families and their carers. It's now becoming more and more prevalent, early diagnosis, more people living longer with dementia. And the services we provide are everything from day opportunities and daycare for people, all the way through to supporting the carers and their families to ensure that they understand the condition and understand what they can do and how they can support people. Another area we get involved in later life is around falls prevention. The number one admission into hospitals in the UK that is emergency admissions is through falls for older people. So we offer different services across Birmingham and Sandwell to cover falls prevention, everything from toenail clipping services through to strength and conditioning services, all the way through to handy person services that support people in the home. One thing that we're all not very good at is planning for later life, and we offer a later life planning service, which is where we can help and support people to write wills, but also to put lasting power of attorney in place as well. Two really important key aspects of growing old is making choices about what happens when you're not here and what happens when you don't have capacity. And those two services allow people to make that choice. Digital, we're never going to get away from it these days. The world is digitized. So we offer digital inclusion classes to teach people how to do everything from use the NHS app to parking apps to just getting online to communicating with friends and family. You name it, we can cover it in our sessions. And then obviously, as I say, you've got our retail section that we have our shop in Hampstead, and people can support us by giving us donations through that. So think a lot of people don't understand. They see the graceful swan of the shops, but they don't see the legs pedaling underneath.
Yeah, I don't think I had a clue how much you have to do there, and I certainly didn't think about, classes for using online services, but it's so true, isn't it? My mother-in-law doesn't want to use internet banking because it scares her and she doesn't trust it, so it only makes sense that you would have to teach people to use all the variety bits of media we need these days.
Yeah, and I think the interesting thing is, something as simple as the parking apps, for going into town and parking your car and going cashless. That involves having the right app for a start for the parking zone that you're going into. You need digital banking because you need to connect your bank account to pay for it. And all of those are drivers for people to change their habits and say, do you know what, I'm not going to go into town anymore. People stay at home, they become socially isolated. And those are the kind of key drivers that we're trying to break those barriers down. We're not going to get away from digital. It's advancing faster than we can ever keep up. And I think going forward, we talked about getting people, online connected, but I don't think this is ever going to go away now. There's always going to be a generation who are behind. I mean, you think about the advancements with AI, you think about, where digital's going, how fast it's moving. There'll be a generation out of date all the time. And this is probably one of the big society issues for older people we're going to have to deal with on an ongoing basis.
Yeah, it's something we take for granted, isn't it? Even my generation, I'm technologically behind the next generation and the next generation. It certainly moves at such a speed that trying to keep with that and, you know, avoid all the fraud risks that come with it, and those are the things that terrify people and make them not want to use it. It's hard,
Yeah.
the latest one is electric cars, isn't it, and charge points, and why isn't my charging cable locked because you haven't started charging, and all these things that people now need to learn. And without the right support network around them, I guess they do really rely on people like yourselves.
As I say, so when people get questions and it's having that point of contact to come and talk to us, and there's no ridiculous questions when people come and ask us, whether that's about how to navigate health and social care, or whether that's, like you say, about how do I use a parking app, or how do I get on the NHS app. It starts with a question when people come to us, and generally we've got the services to follow up behind it. But I think what's important also is where we don't have the services, we generally know who does. So,
Okay.
getting people to our front door is critical. We'll do what we can, but we'll also make sure they're connected to services that, if we don't provide it, we'll find somebody who does. And I think that's the message really for people to fully understand, is we're a connector as well as an enabler.
To offer all the services, and how much do you guys need to continually raise to afford to provide these services?
Yeah, it's constant, as you know. We're a bit like a shark. If we stop moving, we die. Funding comes in various states and forms, so we do provide contracts for local authorities, we do provide contracts for health, and we do, rely on trusts and grant funding and donations from the general public. So it's a healthy mix. It's not reliant on any one source. So we try and spread the risk and the liability. But yeah, without funding, we can't do any of these things, and that's really important. We're a 1.7 million pound organisation, and obviously every year we need that kind of money to develop and grow. We're growing because there's a greater demand for our services. There's more people accessing our services and more people asking us to get involved in new services as well. So we're constantly looking, and it's just a constant challenge, particularly when you look at the state of our local authorities and financing. You look at the changes within the NHS, we're constantly navigating changing landscapes of funding. But it's what we do. I can't, it's no point in getting upset about it or arguing about it. We just have to find a way. And sometimes you have to knock on a different door, turn over a different stone, and have that. The conversations are critical to keep those going. But yeah, we need money. In like any business does, we've got to have turnover. We've got to have money coming in.
When I'm speaking to a variety of charities, they're telling me that they're having to be more creative and put on more events than they've ever had to just generate the same level of donations. Are you finding the same?
Yeah, I think we're all in the same position in the voluntary sector. We're all after the same pots of money. It's those pots of money becoming more and more competitive. So for us, it's more about how do we generate free income that we're in control of, and a lot of charities are doing that. Events and promotions and trying to increase their donations. We're not a charity that's particularly strong on charity shops. Ironically, in Birmingham, we only have one shop. Other AGE UKs around the country are dominant and reliant on their charity shop income to be able to do that. We don't. So we have to do it differently. So we work a lot with corporates to look for corporate donations and support. We work a lot on contracting with the NHS and local authorities, as I say, and applying to trusts and foundations constantly.
In terms of fundraising drives and events this year, what's your main ones?
Two big events going on now, and people can get the details off our website. So first challenge is for everybody in Birmingham to step up. So we're asking people in Birmingham to take on the 70k for 70k challenge. So that's in any given week between now and the end of September. We're asking people to walk 70,000 steps and raise sponsorship, and they can do that by accessing our website and our Just Giving page, and to get involved on that and try and do some increased activity, which will hopefully benefit themselves and their health. But also the money raised will go straight into supporting people with wellbeing services within our organisation. And then the other big challenge involves me, a little bit like you, Dave, around your marathon. Somebody stupidly caught me at a moment of weakness. And on the 6th of September, I will be riding 127 miles from National Aid UK's head office in London to our head office in Birmingham. But I won't be doing it on the road. I'll be doing it in Grand Central Station in New Street on a virtual bike, on a virtual ride on a virtual bike. So yeah, I've got about 7.5 hours of pedaling ahead of me. That is I'll be going through the pain barrier doing that,
Yeah.
and the reason we're doing that is to raise awareness about people who live with dementia. It's not an easy condition for the person who lives with dementia or for the family. So if I can put myself on the line a little bit, try and raise a little bit of money, then that's something that we're doing. So the HQ to HQ challenge is 127 miles in Birmingham New Street with me pedaling furiously on a Saturday morning. So people can donate, they can come along on the day, they can see me sweating and give me some encouragement, throw wet sponges at me, whatever it takes. But yeah, it's a big challenge to take on. So two big events, but hopefully we can generate £80,000 off the back of those.
127 miles, that's a hell of a lot to cover in a day off.
Yeah.
At my peak, I did 100 miles in a day, and I'm not sure I would have had it in me for the other 27, to be honest. But particularly on a static bike where you don't get the joy of those downhill sections where you get to rest.
I've got a turbo that is powered and will do that for me, but that's still 6,500 feet of climbing to do on the day. So and being in the saddle for probably 7.5 hours. So it's going to be a monumental challenge. Yeah, the good thing is I haven't got weather to contend with and I haven't got traffic to contend with. The downside is I've got no wind to keep me cool, so I'm going to have to generate some wind with fans and things like that. So and I'm just
Yeah.
praying that it's a pretty miserable, dank, wet day on the 6th of September. Because if you've ever been on the concourse in New Street, it's a bit like a greenhouse. So
Have you roped anyone in to do it with you, or are
no,
you
I'm doing it,
sorting
but
that out on your
I'm
own?
doing it on my own. But you'll be able to track it live as well. So we'll be able to. There'll be a website where people can see where I'm at in the country at any point. And also, we'll have a team of staff down there as well and volunteers who'll be hopefully collecting and getting people involved and enthused as they pass through the station.
Fair play. I don't envy you, but you'll certainly feel an amount of pride when you finish that. What's the biggest distance you've done before on a bike?
So I've done 100 miles on the road. I've done the Ride Birmingham twice,
Okay.
which was closed roads, but it's just a whole different ballgame being on the turbo for that length of time.
Yeah.
I did two sections of the ride on Sunday this week, so I broke it into 25-mile sections. So I did two back-to-back sections on Sunday. Wasn't too bad. It was just very, very warm doing it, and that was with all the windows open and two fans on me at home. So yeah, I think the heat's probably going to be the biggest challenge and staying hydrated and fueled. As you know, with any endurance event, you've got to keep that
Yeah.
hydration and fueling up.
Hopefully by the time you do it in September, it's cooled off a little bit. But yeah, you'll have a fair few people staring at you as they wander past as well.
Yeah, I'm kind of was. They asked that we got the option, and Saturday's apparently the busiest day in New Street. But it then suddenly dawned on me Saturday's probably when all the hen do's, stag do's, and football fans are arriving as well. And I thought, this is probably just taking a new dimension now. So yeah, I'm just hoping that my minders and bodyguards will give me the space to actually get on and pedal. But yeah, people can come along and they can interact with us. You might just get a sweaty smile from me. Depends how difficult it gets, but yeah, I'll be there doing it.
Hopefully you raise your 80k. That's a massive target and will certainly make a difference in those services that you're trying to do. Really. Hopefully people get behind you, go on your website and do that link. So yeah, that would be too hard for me. I'm definitely not in good enough shape to take that on, and it's a whole other thing of battling a bike saddle for that long as well. So.
Yeah, we'll be all right, I'm sure. I've got a good team of people around me, and as long as everybody gives me plenty of encouragement on the day, it'll be fine. We'll get through it one way or other. As I say, a little bit of suffering for me is incomparable to people living with dementia. So, hopefully it'll shine a light on those people and the services that we provide to support those people. And again, the money raised goes straight into supporting more people and giving more support to the service users as well as the families and carers.
It's an unthinkable condition to suffer, isn't it? And certainly families when dealing with it. My mum either has an early stage of it or they suspect she'll have it due to a head injury. She had an aneurysm at 60.
Mhm.
So while she's only 68 now, her cognitive function and brain function as a whole was significantly damaged. She lost use of her whole left-hand side of her body. And it's hard to tell though because she has altered states of kind of consciousness anyway. You can be talked to her normally, she's talking to children, and then she says she needs to take me school shoe shopping. I can only imagine when someone doesn't have that injury and then they suddenly go from it's just so hard for families to deal with.
Yeah, and I think from our side, it's given that full wraparound support. We look after, as I say, our daycare systems look after the people who are living with dementia, but the important bit is providing the right kind of information, the support, and you know, letting people know that they're not, what they're going through isn't any different from other people go through, and other people going through it. I think it's very isolating and polarizing when people first get a diagnosis. They don't fully understand the suite of conditions that become dementia as an umbrella term. And I think just giving people that knowledge and that support is really critical, because without, family carers and carers, this is a huge impact on the NHS and on local authority care systems. So those unpaid carers provide vital services, and as heart wrenching as it is sometimes, people still step up and do it. And if we can step up and support them, that's exactly what we're here for.
It's a great service you provide. It's a really difficult time for families, and the expectation on you and the difficulty to do it, the difficulty to see your relative in that state, yet know that you have to and know that they rely on you it does break you. So to have people like you to support them, it's really is quite crucial. In terms of, is there anything we haven't covered today that you'd like to kind of express about what you do?
No, I think we've done a good overview today. I mean, there's lots of things that people can find out about us. Go onto our website, ageukbirmingham.org.uk. On there, you can see all the services we provide. You can interact. People can offer to volunteer if they've got time to support us. There's ways that people can support us in different ways, not just monetary. So we're always looking for volunteers. We're always looking for people to help us out. All the information is on the website, and people can contact us. And if anybody wants to find out any more about what we do as an organisation, then just get in touch with our general advice line, and we'll be able to support people. And again, if people have got an older relative, or they've got a neighbour or anybody that they're concerned about, give us a call, because if we don't know the answer, we'll find the answer for them.
That's great. No, I appreciate you coming on and time today. Good luck with all the training, and I'm definitely going to click into the link later in the day and see how you're coping.
Yeah, there'll be a few updates on social media. As I said, there's a very sweaty video from this Sunday with me leaning over the bike trying to do a kind of TikTok update of training. But yeah, check our socials. There'll be quite a lot getting pushed out on socials about my training, and also the 70k for 70k for the step challenge for people. If they're not into riding 127 mile on a bike, they can do the 70k for 70k step challenge with us as well. So just check the socials. There'll be lots going out on feeds around that.
Yeah, I'll get Kirsty to send the 70k round the company to see if anyone can get dragged into that. You got a lot more chance of them walking that than cycling 127 miles.
Yeah,
So.
I wouldn't wish the 127 miles on anybody, but we'll get through it one way or the other. We have to. It's as simple as that. As I say, I'm sure when you did the marathon, you found a way to get through it in the end. So, you know,
Yeah, it wasn't fun. I don't fancy that one again, but yeah, I did. So I'm sure you will. As I say, thanks again for coming on, Steve.
oh,
Great to
great.
chat to you.
Yeah, thanks very much.